Okay, Nikovan everyone, welcome back to a video response. Once again, my very, very good friend and longtime friend, dear brother of mine, not literally brother, but basically like that, is Todd Walnuts. And again, the link to his channel, both his channels, will be down below for Todd Walnuts and his gaming channel, Surviving the Horror. Okay, and he requested to me a video to do. And maybe I should have brought my phone to listen back and get a message, but I think it was, like one more time, but I think it was something like cartoons and animated stuff that I grew up with as a child. I can't go through everything, but, or you know what, I think there are movies, right? Cartoons, like animated films that maybe like influenced me in some way as a child, or was like my favorite thing as a child growing up. I can compile something, something of that. But before I do that, I just want to very quickly would like to preface something, and that is because I just want to kind of clarify. I put up a post a very short while back, and I think not a lot of people know too much of the details, because like random people can come across that. So I just want to clarify with my situation, what's going on. I don't want to go too much detail. A lot of it is, embarrassing stuff. But it's. I think someone mistaken that like I don't want to get a job, or I can't work, or not. I just like I don't want to get, like I'm lazy or something. It is not that. I worked in the past, mostly office work, but in between office work, I would have to take what I can get. The problem now is I've gone so many years without work, and there are, again, I don't want to go too much in detail because I'm embarrassed by it, but there are medical issues that have to be factored in now. Things I'm unable to do, and the way I move and stuff, it's I'll just say it's not the same. And then there's pain, and I have like some heart issues, high blood pressure issues. Again, I'm embarrassed to name all of these problems, and I won't name them all, but and some of you folks that have been following me know about much of these, especially my Discord group, and I'll talk about that too in a moment. There were some good people. There were good people, I'll say. But like for example, when I sleep, I cannot sleep in a certain position anymore, because it causes pain. But that's just like an example, okay? And I suppose now at this point, okay, it's okay. I just had to make sure I hit the record button. At this point, I suppose I could, and I hate to use this word, but I'm not going to. I'm not going to do it. I could get some sort of, maybe a disability or something, like a medical thing, but I'm not going to do that. I've never applied for anything like that. Every time I get my money, it's always a check, or I earned it in some way. It's sort of like it's my, and again, I know there's a better word for it, but like, it's my belief, or it's like an honor thing, like a, it's like my honor, I have my honor, so that's why I don't want to do that. I'm not saying there's necessarily anything wrong for those people that do it, that have to take some kind of disability and get disability money and stuff like that. I've never done it, and I'm not getting any kind of money at all. That's why I need something. I need a job, but I'm having a very hard time with that, especially now at my age, and it's been a while since, quite a long time, I'll say, since I actually had a real, paycheck kind of job. But I'm saying, like, for me, like I said, it's my belief or my honor thing that I just feel that if you want to get money, you have to work for it. You have to do some kind of work, and you have to earn it. That is just my personal belief, not just getting a check, unless, of course, there's some exceptions to that, like if, say, you're in the war or something, or in the military, and you came back messed up, or whatever, something's wrong, or you lost your legs or something. Of course, I understand that you fought for this country, America I'm talking about. Then absolutely, yes, you fought for a country and everything. You absolutely deserve that. So that's me. Again, it's my personal belief. That's why I'm never gonna go out there with a sign. I see these poor people. When I mean poor, is like literally these poor. I'm very sorry for them, kind of thing, but also poor. Carrying signs and holding it up and need money. And honestly, if I was in a better position, I would give a little something, but I'm in need myself. But I'm never going to go out there and ask for anything. I feel as if well, just like Calador from Red Sonja, if you don't know by now, maybe some of you folks know it. I love my movies, so I have an easier time quoting them to get people to understand. But thank you, when Bridget Nielsen, who's Red Sonja, says to him, thank you, Calador, but we don't need your help. But thank you, Calador, but we don't need your help. Need your help. You'll be great. We don't need your help. You'll be greatly rewarded. I'm no mercenary. No one pays me. And if I think someone owes me something, I take it. So it's like that, So if you earn it, then you should get. That's when you get the money. I feel that, again, that is just my personal belief. Okay, nothing against those that kind of maybe they really need it, but just for me personally, that's just my it's, and belief, I think, is not really the word. There's another word for it. I will say this, for my Discord group, about a year ago, maybe at this point slightly more than a year, when I was in my Adventurers Guild, and now the Adventurers Guild is no more, but they're trying to advise me and help me out how to get money and how to not get money, how to make money and stuff, and that's how I discovered this buy me a cup of coffee thing. So I really didn't want to do it, but they helped me out with that, and kind of, like, you can say, convinced me to do it. Not that it's bad and like it's it's just like a bad thing to do, I guess, but I just didn't want to do it because I just didn't want people to just keep giving me money. I want to be able to earn it. But they come up with points. Well, you're providing entertainment, and you're not forcing anyone. That is why I don't. This is really maybe the second time only I'm bringing it up. I mean, the first time when I did it, when I started it up, and I have in my short section, the people who are, either they're doing it still or on off thing, or they did it at least at one point, supporting me, my channel through the, buy me a cup of coffee. I put them up there so people, just to acknowledge them, and I'm hoping to get them more subscribers. I don't think it worked, though, to be quite honest, but that's why. I felt that they needed to be recognized for that, okay? But I never brought it up in any videos. Oh, I have buy me a cup of coffee, and like in all my videos. This is like the second time I'm bringing it up. I feel bad, even having it, and a little embarrassed, but whatever, it's okay now. So that's what it is. I just wanted to bring that up, get that out of the way, and just let you guys know that is just my belief, and I'm with you guys. I know there are people out there that don't like that, don't like, they want people to just go out there and just get some work, get off your lazy ass and stuff. I'm completely with you on that. But the issue is I can't do anything if they're not hiring me, or they don't call me back for a second interview or any of that, So I have no control over that, and it's, again, I don't want to talk about too many embarrassing things, just my age, and I'm physically not the same, but there's still something out there. I'm going to keep on looking until I just can't anymore. I will just say that, I'm at the point, because of the pain and all of that, and just life things. There's other issues and things to factor in, but I won't bother going into it. But if I was able to control to not wake up anymore at this point, I wish I can do that, just to sleep and then not get up. But since I can't do that, I don't have control over that, just a peaceful way to just kind of go. I have to just I have no choice but to kind of go on and keep on seeing what I can do, and keep doing what gives me pleasure by playing these games and role-playing the games and stuff like that. So just so you guys know, okay? So again, I want to shout out my dear friend Todd Walnuts. Thank you so much for being a brother and such a great friend. And there are other people, and eventually, I'll shout them out again, but I've shout them out in the past before. Okay, so again, this video, I'm going to pause it here and just make sure I have everything all set up. I'm going to talk about cartoon movies and stuff that kind of inspired me or sparked my imagination as a child. Okay, so here we go. Okay, so we have here the Black Cauldron. By the way, wait, it's the audio. Okay. Also, Todd said it's okay that because he understands my OCD problem, that it's fine that I don't grab them off the shelf, because some of them I have to dig for them, and because of my OCD, it's a weird one, but maybe you guys can't understand unless you have it. But he said it's okay. Oh, so okay. So I do have this film from the movie club, the Disney movie club, the Black Cauldron. So this one I saw in theaters, with my family, and I really like this one. It's different from the typical Disney animated film. There's no, it's not a musical for one. It's more bleak, you can say, and even a little bit gothic, and there's I think there's a scene or two that shows blood. The whole theme of necromancy, the villain himself, which is the Horned King, being undead, and his whole purpose of wanting to get this Black Cauldron to resurrect the army of the dead is just kind of a plot that is so different from Disney. Back in the day, I didn't think it was all that great either. I thought, oh, okay, it's good, but I was expecting more of a musical. But as I got older, I started to really like this one a lot, because of Conan and all of that stuff, Dragon Slayer, things like that. So Black Cauldron is one that I will always remember and always love and always be very high on my list as one of my favorite fantasy sword and sorcery stuff, movies. I can't remember now. If you on the message, Todd, You said just fantasy cartoons or all cartoons? I think maybe it's just fantasy, so I will stick to that. Okay. Oh, also the thing I loved was how this really felt like a D&D campaign, or one of those party-based single-player RPGs such as Might and Magic, Eye of the Beholder, from back in the good old days, the 80s and 90s, with Terran first having his sort of, you can call him like a familiar, Henwin, his pig, and then I think coming across a thief-like character named Gurgen, and then I think her name was Princess Alandra or something like that, Alandriel or Alandra, I can't remember now her name, but the blonde mage, with the mage light orb always flying around, her, and then the bard, Flim Flan, I think, or something. So it just really felt like, you felt the party getting larger, and him coming across that magical sword, and just like a true D&D campaign, powering up and everything. Okay, let me move on to the next one. Okay, and I also want to say that there's no particular order in this. I would have to think longer on that if I was to do it. But here's one. Fire and Ice. And again, I have this, although on not Blu-ray but on DVD. It was the one that came out, I want to say, at least 10 or 15 years ago, I think. And I think I may have bought it at Circuit City back in the day. It is one where it comes with a slipcover, and the slipcover is lenticular. That one I have, and I would like to upgrade it to blue at some point. But yeah, as you can see here with the movie poster here, a Ralph Bakshi film. I remember when I first, I'll say, seen the film. I've heard of it back in the day, in the 80s, late 80s, somewhere around there. But I didn't really, and then I forgot about it. But then it didn't really catch my radar again until in the 90s when I was working at Funcoland, and the assistant manager there at the time, and later I became assistant manager. But his name was Nate, right? And he's a big black guy, right? But he's a funny guy. But he put it on in Funcoland. There would be a TV suspended from the ceiling in one of the corners, and that's the format of Funcoland back in the day, which then later turned into a game stop, right? But we would also in Funcoland buy back not just games but movies, right? VHS movies. And one of those movies in there was Fire and Ice. So he put it on and he's playing it, and I on and off, and I would just kind of, I wasn't watching it really from the beginning, but I'd just kind of come back and forth to it. And then there's a part where you see this dude here, Dark Wolf, coming to the picture. And yeah, Nate's like, yeah, that's my boy. I go, who? That's Dark Wolf. That's my boy. I said, oh, okay. Yeah, that motherfucker with the axe right there, that's Dark Wolf. I said, oh, okay, yeah. Oh, this is quite cool. I really like this cartoon. And then I said, is this kind of like pornographic? Because I'm looking at the women in here, and like with her, I forgot her name now, but it's kind of been a while now since I've seen it, so I have to see it again. But the hero, it's really, it revolves around him. But to me, this guy was the show stealer, although this guy here is still cool. But this girl, I noticed, like, she's dressed very skimpy all the time. And I said, is this like pornographic? And he said, nah, it's it's just they do make the girls just all sexy and shit. And I said, oh yeah, okay, yeah. So that's, you know, I haven't seen anything like that before. You know, where the women are just, you know, drawn like that and like little, you know, less clothes like that. Although in RPGs, of course, I'd always pick like the hot face, you know, for like Might and Magic and stuff. And you know, I have to have like a couple hot chicks in the group, right? And then my wizard would be Falagar, you know. But yeah. So that's why this, and from that point on, you know, I rented it and watched it and loved it, and then just had to own it. So the bad guy in here, I think his name was Necron, and he has the power of ice, and he wants to envelop the whole land with ice. And his mother, Necron's mother, is the one that kind of has control over his son. And Necron has these pretty uber powers where he can kind of what is it? Kind of like control people, so to stop their movement, you know, like a telekinesis type thing. But not telekinesis really, but just to halt their movement, almost like a hold person type thing. That's what it is, like a hold person spell, but not quite that. But this was really, you know, uniquely and beautifully animated, you know, in the style of, you know, how Ralph Bakshi, you know, how he does. The artist for Conan, will it say Frank Frazetta? That's it, Frank Frazetta. There it is. You know, that artwork, he has that art style, you know. And fun little fact is, for the people that they animated, they actually got actual actors to move around and kind of draw them to get the people to get the movements as realistic as they can for the characters. So it's quite cool. Okay, so let me move on. Okay, you know, I'm starting to think that it's more than just, now that I'm remembering more from the message, that it's more than just sword and sorcery stuff. But, you know, I could include things like, you know, Transformers and G.I. Joe, He-Man, that kind of fits in. But I'm not going to go through every single one of those, even though those were, you know, during those days, the Chipmunks, you know, watch out, 'cause here we come. It's been a while, but we're back in style, right? CHIPMUNK, we're the Chipmunks, guaranteed to brighten your day, right? Alvin, Simon, Theodore, do, you know, things. Oh, I love that. And we are the Littles, dun 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 dun. Punky Brewster, and the Rubik's Cube cartoon. From my video to my radio, boom, 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 boom. Come on, kid video, come on. You can't. It's just so great. And and oh, what heights we'll sing on with the show. This is it. Something like that. It's been such a long time, right? But you know, the Bugs Bunny cartoon show, you know, and look at Dungeons and Dragons, right? Da, na, 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 na. Da, na, 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 na. Da, na, 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 na. Oh, it kind of it's choking me up a little just remembering all this great stuff, right? But Thundercats, I'm after all showing Thundercats. Sorry for ranting on about that. But Thundercats, Pantro, Snarf, Snarf, and here's Snarf. Dun, 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 dun. I think maybe a lot of you guys who aren't, you know, an 80s kid don't know what I'm talking about, but we have Tigra, dun, 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 dun. He can go invisible with his bolo whip. Of course, Lionel himself, Chitara, Jaga, well, the kit and well, the cat. I get those two confused. Like which one's Kodo, which one's Poto, right? But I love this because, kind of like He-Man, although I think this is the better. I think Thundercats was a nice amalgamation of like high fantasy sword and sorcery with sci-fi. They come from Thundera and they crash land on Third Earth. You have Mum-Ra and then the mutants, led by Slithe. You have Monkey and then Jackalman and Vulture that followed them to Third Earth. And then they have to make friends with the denizens of the planet, the Burbles and just other nasties that come along, and even foreign invaders that may crash land on the planet, So this was such a nice combination of sword and sorcery and science fiction. So Thundercats, is my pick. And He-Man, it takes place on a planet called Eternia, and but I thought this was much better animated because I think He-Man was at Filmation. Don't quote me on this, okay? Please don't get mad if I'm wrong, but I think it's an American company, and Thundercats was Japanese animated, right? There was a spin-off to this one called Silverhawks with Moonstar, right? Silverhawks. Partly metal, partly steel, Silverhawk, something like that. I like that one too, but Thundercats by far among my favorite. Okay, so I think we might be getting close to the end, but let me see what else I can come up with. Okay, I may as well show it. Speaking of Dungeons and Dragons, Dungeon Master Avenger, Eric, Sheila, Presto, Bobby, Uni, and I forgot these two names, but for some reason it's just not sticking. Well, anyways, I have the I wanted to say, just like with the Thundercats, I have the complete series on DVD. I have this on DVD as well, the complete series. It's a box set. That one, I do recall getting that one from Circuit City. It is in this red rectangular box. It comes with a rudimentary basic Dungeons and Dragons game, tabletop pen and paper and dice version of Dungeons and Dragons. It comes with that, but I kept all that stuff intact. I just, aside from taking out the DVDs and watching those, everything else is immaculate in mint. I have many such collectibles at my house, or rather my dad's. Some is over here though, but this was so great. And me being a lover of things like Conan, Red Sonja, and all of those things, I would wake up every Saturday morning and just love to watch this. But there were other shows. In fact, though, I think there were after school ones, though. This one's a Saturday morning one, but things like Spectre-Man is another show I remember. Spectre-Man, power from space, he'll save the human race, right? Spectre-Man, anyways. Dungeons and Dragons. It's these kids here, besides Uni, they come across him when they come to that world. They go on this Dungeons and Dragons amusement park ride and get transported magically to the realm of Dungeons and Dragons. Immediately, you see this in the intro. There really isn't an episode showcasing this. It's just always covered in the introduction to it. They come across Dungeon Master, who outfits them and assigns them a character class, with this magical gear, and Venger, he's trying to get a hold of the kids' magical items, you know, for just doing evil things. But I think, Venger's arch enemy is Tiamat. He's this multi-headed dragon. But there's many great adventures that these kids get caught up in, you know, and usually there's a lesson attached to them, you know, given by a dungeon master. Like, truth is in the eye of the beholder. Lukian, you know, there was a lesson with that one, with Lukian. There's one where there was a castle in the sky. That's a good cartoon, by the way, Castle in the Sky. I might show that one too. That was also formerly known as Laputa, Japanese anime. And when I had first seen that film, that was in the 80s, and it's original Japanese. But anyways, yeah. So Dungeons and Dragons is another one. Okay, and here it is. This would be the last. Castle in the Sky, but as I knew it originally, Laputa. I seen this at my cousin's house, Patty. This was around late 80s, I want to say. Definitely before 90s, but late 80s. And she had it on VHS. I don't know how she got a hold of such a thing, but she had it, a copy of it. And she warned me. She said, yeah, have you seen a movie called Laputa? Or I think Laputa? And I said, no. And she said, okay, yeah, it's a really good one and everything. The only problem is it is in Japanese. I said, oh, okay, there's no subtitle. There's subtitles, but those two were in Japanese. So I couldn't understand it, but I just had to go by what I seen, and I loved it. Years later, when this movie came out on DVD, a Miyazaki film, I've since then collected a bunch of his works, you know, like Secret World of Arrietty, for example. I'm trying to remember, but Howl's Moving Castle, things like that. Spirited Away, that one I saw in theaters. I thought it was good, but I mean, this Laputa is by far, to me, was the best. But it came out on DVD from Disney, right? But now I think they do not own the rights, right? So they reissued it, right? And I'm trying to remember what I'm gonna say or get my thoughts together again. But what I loved about that, and they dubbed the voice, right? So you have Mark Hamill as the villain. I think Anna Paquin was Shita. Muskis or something. I think his name was Mushka or Mushkis or something, was Mark Hamill, you know, who voiced the villain. You have, was it James Van De Beek? I want to say it's James Van De Beek as the voice of Patsu, but I could be wrong on that. We have Cloris Leachman, right, as the grandmother in there. I forgot her name now, but yeah, you know, so rest assured, I watched it, dubbed it, so I can completely understand it. The soundtrack also was remastered, and it was filled out a bit more. It had a more orchestral quality than it did in its original Japanese. Patsu's theme song or whatever, Patsu's theme or whatever it's called, when he's playing the trumpet, when he first kind of came across Shita, and she's sleeping in his bed, okay, and he lets the pigeons go, and he goes out there and he plays dun 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 bum bum dun 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 dun. Then that key change, that key change, dun dun dun. It went up an octave, dun 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 dun. Beautiful. The movie was beautiful to look at. The sights, the sounds, the journey, the friendship between Patsu and Shita, them going into that cave with all the lights in there, everything gorgeous. The train sequence, this is a beautiful film, and it begs to be seen. That's why back in the day, in the late 80s when I had first seen it, even though it was in Japanese and I didn't understand it, it didn't matter. You know, it was so gorgeous to look at, and you get the gist from seeing their movements and what's going on and stuff, that you kind of get it to a certain extent. Okay, so that will do it, guys. Again, I want to thank my very dear friend Todd Walnuts for giving me this idea, and I want him to be recognized for being such a great guy, great dude, and great friend. So thank you so much, Todd. I appreciate you, and I love you, brother. And thank you. And that goes for many others. I'll try to do a shout out as soon as I can to give love to all those people like Vic and Mike and Falagar and Ari, everybody. Ayina the Khajiit, you know, and just keep going on. You know, everyone in the Discord from before. I love all you guys. So, and I love you, Todd. So thank you, brother. Okay.